Today we're going to do a demonstration on how to apply CarPro CQuartz UK on the demo. Couple things. First of all, you should always wear gloves for safety, but in this case the main reason that I actually wear them is so that I don't transfer any oils from my hands onto the applicator or the paint. So you take the foam block, you wrap the 4-inch suede over the gray side of that, you shake the product up, open that up, and there's a few notes that I'll give you up front about applying it to the paint. Number one, there's no need, this isn't brain surgery, you don't have to get in there and be all careful. You put the product on there, as you'll see, and you go across fast. You get it on the paint. You're going to do, depending on the temperatures, you may do the whole panel or you may do half the panel, but at some point you'll be applying more product, and you want to go ahead and make sure that that applicator is always wet. You don't want to put it on too thin, and you don't need to work it in for too terribly long. You just go across it a couple times in that direction, in this direction, and then the next tip is, after a panel or two, if it's a small panel you'll do a couple of them, then you're going to go ahead and take the applicator and flip it over, and then you'll use this side of it, and you'll do a couple more panels, and then after that you toss the applicator. When all said and done, you'll end up using about 4 applicators on the vehicle for one coat, and then you can come back an hour later and you can put a second coat on, or any time thereafter you can put that second coat on. And then finally, whether you put on 1 coat, 2 coats, or however many coats you put on, in that hour, that's from when you start the vehicle. So say you start on this passenger side door and you go around the entire vehicle. By the time you get back around the other side, maybe it's been 30, maybe it's been 40 minutes, so give it another 20 minutes before you put the second coat on and go in the same direction around the vehicle. After you've finished applying the CQuartz UK, you want to go ahead and give it an hour after that before you apply the reload. And the reload is important to apply, and you can look at some of my other tips on how to apply reload properly. It's very simple to use. The main point on reload is to not spray it all over the car like a lunatic. One spray, buff it in immediately, wipe it off, and make sure that you buff it off completely before you move to the next section. It's that simple. But anyway, on to the CQuartz UK. Now, we didn't show the prep that we did with this vehicle, but we started by compounding it with Fixer, and then we came back and we hit it with my favorite finishing polish. It's amazing if you haven't used it. It's called CarPro Reflect. So we polished it with that, with a Rupus polisher, Bigfoot 21mm, and so we hit it with that, and then that was with a blue buff and shine pad, Reflect. Got it all right, and then we wiped that off. We used our Microfiber Madness Yellow Fellow. It's another amazing tool. Between that towel and the Reflect, it's a real joy to work with when you're doing your finishing polish step. And then of course you come back, and this is a critical step after you finish your finishing polish step. You want to wipe it down with CarPro Eraser, and you take that with a good towel like the Microfiber Madness Yellow Fellow, wipe down and get the remaining oils off. The Reflect, it only has a little bit of mineral oil in it, so there's a few polishes out there that you can use and you'll be fine, that being one of them. And what you don't want to do is use polishes that have a ton of oils, or specifically any kind of durable filler in it that's going to bond to the surface. If you do use something that's a little on the oilier side, then another good practice is to go back and wipe it down with the eraser a second time. But instead of waiting till you do the whole car to wipe it down with the eraser, go ahead and panel by panel, after you finish polishing a panel, with the finishing polish that is, wipe it down with the eraser, then after you wipe off the polish, wipe it down with the eraser, and do it like that all the way around the car. And that way you don't give whatever's in that polish, the oils and stuff like that, a time to set up and be any more difficult to remove. It's just one more precaution. So, all right. So as I was saying, there's no need to be shy with putting it on the applicator. You can see I put 2, 3 stripes on there, and then you're just going to go straight to the paint with it. As you can see, it's flashing here. There's a few places that I'm just going to come back and touch up right against the corners there. For getting underneath mirrors and spots like that, you'll want to take it off and get up under there like that. You can do the trim as well. I prefer the CQuartz Deluxe on the trim, but you can certainly do the trim as well. If you do use it on the trim, I would recommend using the applicator towards the end of its life. So when I'm about to flip this over, I'll go ahead and do some trim with it, and that's just an extra precaution. Once again, that's just because, you know, trim is more porous than paint. This is generally what it's going to look like when it's time to wipe it off. You're going to take your 16-inch suede for this. If it tries to roll up on you, that's okay. Just give it one more fold like that to where you can control it better, and then you're in good shape. You want to pay special attention around places like this and up in little creases where your hand won't naturally press the towel up against. That's a good place where you might leave a high spot if you don't pay attention. You want to go over it a couple times. You can see now I'm starting to load it up, and I've got a little bit of product that I'm spreading around there. So now's a good time to flip it over. Well, for what it's worth, it's 88 degrees Fahrenheit right now, 42% humidity. That translates to 31 degrees Celsius for the rest of the world. Oh, one other tip. Looking at it from here, you can't tell if you left any high spots like that because of the lighting. But if I lean down here like this and look at it from a different angle, I can see I've got a spot right there. And those will turn into high spots if you don't get them off. And from these angles, I can see pretty much everything here. Thanks for watching. I hope all of you enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and see you next time.